Once upon a time, Polly ran frantically through the dark forest of fear and doubt until one day she slowed down enough to notice the trees were beautiful. The more she noticed the trees, the less she saw the darkness. She discovered she was in an olive grove rather than a forest. This is when she uncovered her magic truth. Polly's purpose is to shine in every way. Welcome to her manifesting success story. Hello, and welcome to this interview. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with Paulie Rojas for another chapter in her manifesting success story. Welcome, Paulie.
Hello, Cassie. Thank you so much for having me yet again.
I am so excited to have you and to catch up on what's been happening in your manifesting journey over the last 6 months. It was October of 2021 that we did our last interview, and it is currently April 25th, 2022. So let's just jump into it. What is the title that you would give this chapter of your manifesting success story?
This chapter would be called, without a doubt, The Amazing Storyteller.
Yay.
Yes.
Tell us
that's
why.
Something that you gave it to me. Well, you gave me this because my dream, who I want to be, is a celebrated, wonderful storyteller. So you told me to focus, to step into my future self, who is an amazing storyteller, and to see where in every part of my life I am an amazing storyteller. So once that started happening, I had this idea that it would only be for acting, but I discovered it when I go to ballet class, or when I'm with my little niece and nephew, when I'm with Luke, just talking. Every part of my life, there's an amazing story to be told. When I'm with clients, there's always an amazing story. And I love where the different parts of storytelling live in my body. So with ballet, obviously it's very physical and technical. And then of course with acting, there's still a technicality and a physicality to it, but it's also the vocal storytelling. So I love being an amazing storyteller and stepping into that.
Yes, that's amazing. I love that as well. And that's something that we really talk a lot about in the Enchanted Circle is telling the story we want to be true, right? And so I love the way that this showed up for you at this point. You have entered your 5th year in the Enchanted Circle. You've completed 4 years. I know.
Wow.
How does that feel, or what comes up when I say that?
Well, I'm really proud of myself to have been in this, committed relationship for 5 years. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really grateful that I found this 5 years ago. I'm really, I think those are the 2 words that come: proud and grateful. And it's funny because right now my script word, my feeling is I felt proud.
Yay, that's perfect.
Yeah. It's been amazing to see you be so committed to me for 5 years. The growth that I've seen the people in the Enchanted Circle have in 5 years, the new people knowing what what's going to be in store for them,
Yes.
It really is. I'm going to be in New York 10 years in July. And I love that half of that time I've been with you.
Yes.
And I think that it's like my love for New York grows every day. My love for my boyfriend grows every day. My love of story to everything has grown so much, deepened and widened, as you say.
Yes. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love being there for half of your New York adventure as well.
I know. Yeah. And there's so many more years to come.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us about, like allowing what you want to come to you. And realizing, that when things are inspired, they work out. Like, tell us about that and your deepening understanding of that and how it applies to the law of attraction.
Of course. So some people chase money, and I didn't chase money, but I chased everything else, everything that had to do with acting, signing up for workshops, having to email everybody, calling, cold calls, just reaching for people. And so that was my story, is like being the one that had to chase it. Otherwise, I didn't
Mhm.
believe it would ever come to me. But now, I've had so much evidence and its happenings by not doing anything. And it was really fun last year when I got COVID, that I couldn't physically do anything. Like I
Mhm.
couldn't. This was pre-vaccines. I just had to stay in my room. And everything that happened from not being, by doing nothing, like a brand new, laptop, Apple laptop, like people coming into my lives, checking in on me, roles were happening, and I was literally doing nothing. And then again, flash forward to now, a month ago, I'm going to ballet is always inspired. It's always like it's something that I've wanted to do for so long. It's a dream of mine to be a ballerina. So it's easy for me to go do ballet 4 or 5 times a week. And of course, my ballet teacher emails me saying, "Hey, my choreographer friend, she's looking for a dancer that speaks Spanish, and it takes place in the 50s. It's a period thing, which, is a dream of mine to do period roles."
Mhm.
She's like, "Email her." And so I did right away. And I did nothing. She found me. She told me to do this. I did it. That was totally inspired. Um, got the audition, loved the audition, got the call back. It was really fun because at the callback, they asked me to prepare a million things. And every single time they added something, I was happy and excited to do that. And so that all fell into place. The callback happens. I played guitar. I Even the fact that I had to play guitar was inspired, because I've been working on this song for a year and a half. Uh, they had me choreograph something, they had me do an interpretive dance, they had me do the scenes, and they gave me a bunch of notes. And I had the time of my life. And of course, I knew I was going to get the part, and I got the part.
Mhm.
And I did nothing but show up to ballet because it's what I want to do. And then this part happened, and it was great because I do the callback. It was at 7 p.m. at night. I got another audition for my commercial agent, who asked me to put myself on tape for or a commercial. And I was so relieved that I had done this callback, and I thought I would go celebrate, but I had to do one more thing. So I just I just did the audition as quickly as possible. Like, I didn't, no retakes. I just did it, and I booked that. So it was just really fun to uh, experience not being in my head. It was
Mhm.
more like, let's do it. They asked an emotional question. I answered it honestly, and it helped being tired, because it's harder to be in my head when I'm tired. It's more just, let's do this. Let's give it my
Mhm.
best. And then so I booked that, and that was really wonderful to be in line with something that came to me easily, and it was a joy in the process.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I think there's some value. I was thinking about, like, when you said tired, like that's also, not that I am saying you were a dog, but that's how dog trainers, like, they go wear the dog out and then they train the dog,
Ah, you can
right?
call me a dog. I love dogs. It's okay. I didn't
And
realize that's how they did that.
yeah, well, a lot of them are, and at least the way
Hmm.
that our dogs were trained, they take them, and that way they're more, right? They're more
Mm.
malleable. They're more
Hmm.
open and receptive because they are tired. And I love that you mentioned that, because that is one way that someone could, being tired is a great way to get out of your head, because if there's just,
Mm.
you just have to do it, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so, if that's out there for anyone and they want to pick up that tip, or they want to do an audition after being tired, like, that's a
Hmm.
good thing, especially because you didn't have to think about getting out of your head. It just gave you that space.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was, I love that. I normally, like, I'll do 2, 3 takes, but this
Mhm.
time it was like, just do it. Uh, and what was really great, because we've talked so much and worked so much on being present. Um,
Mhm.
First of all, like, when I tell myself I'm an amazing storyteller, that puts me in the present moment, because if I'm doing ballet, where is the story coming from? When I'm telling a story, where is it? I can't be somewhere else. because I'm an amazing resident storyteller. So that keeps me present, but also um, being tired and wanting to do it in one take. If I wasn't present, I would flub it and have to do it again. So it helped me focus to get it done quickly and fast and easy. And that, because I was tired and wanted to get it done, the focus helped me be present. So I could just do it in one take and send it off.
Yes. I love that. And you've mentioned this a couple of times in the interview, and so I want to go into it a little bit more. One of the ways that you've seen your future self show up is really prioritizing being present versus the outcomes. And so will you explain that to us?
Yes, of course. So before, as an example, the outcome was, how do I, you know, end up, winning 5 Oscars and Tonys and all this, right? But I can't get there from there. I can't get there from, like, there is a difference between living, from the end, but I was like, my brain was like far out there. My body was here, but my brain was there. And that's like neither here nor there. So, and thinking about like how I wanted something to go, what I wanted the outcome to be, just kept me more in my head. And that was just, it didn't like transcend my brain. So then you told me, and even today for one-on-one coaching, that if a question is all ever, how do I get there? How do I do this? Then more than likely the answer is be present. So how do I make a big impact, or how do I make a splash in the room? How do I have a great audition? We could talk about technicalities and audition technique and blah, blah, blah. But the answer is always be present. And I really love that, because it means that I'm already there. Like, I don't have to reach for anything. I don't have to like think about a class or anything, but I already have all the tools, especially being part of the Enchanted Circle in the last 5 years. I have the tools in my body. I've been practicing it for 5 years. So now I can just let go, be present, and allow my heart, my body to take the lead, and my brain will follow. So, and that's exactly what happened with this audition. I felt it very much in my body, and because of the presence of it. Yeah.
Oh, yay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And this isn't the only role. You've gotten multiple dream roles and booking, including some voiceover jobs where you get to speak other languages, right?
Yes. So, part of the dream roles is period pieces. It's getting to speak different languages and working with superstars, with other really brilliant artists. And so I've like pretty steadily, even when I was traveling, the world with another dream with my boyfriend, I've been doing voiceover jobs for giant Netflix movies. And in these jobs, they've asked me to speak French, Italian, and Spanish. And on top of that, the last movie I worked on this few days ago took place in Verona, in Italy, and during Shakespearean times. So that's my period piece roles happening. And on top of that, twice already, it's actually more than twice, a session, people, the engineer and the coordinators will say, oh my God, all of us all together as an ensemble, we are their A players, their A game players, we're their A-list, we're their superstars. And everything goes so smoothly and so much fun because he's hired an ensemble of their superstars. He goes, when I saw the roster, I knew these were the heavy hitters. So, it's all happening. Period pieces, getting to work different languages and working with other brilliant, talented actors.
Yay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And the more that you have stayed out of the how, the more that has come true, right? And the more you've embraced being an amazing storyteller, the more that's come true.
Yeah. Oh, and I always love it. Of course, like I have to do a read for something, and then the engineer will be like, that was on fire, just getting like fun feedback like that. And it's, of course, it's so delightful, and it's so encouraging, and it's happening. So,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely happening. I have a couple more questions, but I want to make sure to share this story because I just think it's amazing. Will you share the story of getting a $20 bill for a $5 bill and what happened afterwards?
I love it. Yes. So a friend of mine asked her. She lives in Italy. She asked me if I could file a small claims thing at the courthouse in New York, and of course, I love her. I said yes. So I went to figure something out at the courthouse, and as I'm waiting, a woman approaches and asks me if I could break a 20, and I couldn't break a 20 because at the courthouse at the small claims department you need exact change. Uh, and so she needed $5, and I happened to have a $5 bill. I'm like, here, take it. Like she clearly was, in a hurry, and I was like, please, please, just take this $5 bill. And she was like, no, no, I can't possibly. So after like 30 seconds of her being like, no, I can't take your money. She switched a $20 bill and took my five, and I was I was amazed because I it was giving her the $5 bill with all my heart and doing something good for my friend. And I feel like I was rewarded with like this fun interaction with here's I'll switch I'll trade you a $5 bill for a 20, which I felt so abundant. And then the next day I was on the subway in New York, and these two men came in, and one had an accordion and one had a guitar, and they start playing mariachi music, which I love. And so I like reached into my pocket, and I thought I was giving them a $5 bill. Uh, but it turns out after they left, I realized I had given them the $20 bill that I had gotten from this woman. And it felt so perfect to receive like this $20 bill from this stranger, and then the next day give it away to musicians that I really enjoyed. I was, it's not every day I get serenaded by mariachis on a subway. So I was happy that they got the $20 bill.
Yay, that's awesome. And such
Yeah.
a fun story about following inspiration and
Mhm.
allowing things to flow through you.
Yeah. And it was really great because I could have insisted on not taking her $20 bill. Like I could have said, no, no, no. I like just, but it felt good to receive it. It felt good to take it. Um, I could tell she felt good giving it to me. And I love that that $20 bill got to go to musicians on the subway.
Yes.
Mexican musicians, my countrymen.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Me too.
So let's talk about a recent assignment that you have, this scavenger hunt with
Mhm.
evidence.
Mhm.
Take us through this olive tree story and what's been happening.
Okay, so I had some resistance around it because I had wrote down I wanted to hear about an olive tree, but I had told myself, and I was asking back and forth questions with Yon Kajabi, like, does it have to be like, do I have to hear it, or can I see it, or can I just, do I have to hear it? And you were like, why are you asking this question? And I said, because I have a feeling that it's not going to be so as easy. It's easier to like see a picture or see an olive tree, or like I have um, a friend of mine gifted me olive oil from their vineyard, or their like not their vineyard but their garden in Italy, and I see like an olive tree, and you're like, no, you have to trust that you are going to create hearing an olive tree, and it's going to be fun and easy. That's a choice. But the reason that hadn't I hadn't for a few days heard someone say olive tree, and it's because I had created the doubt that it wasn't going to be easy. So you told me to make a choice to that I trust my future self wrote down here an olive tree, and that's that. And nothing. The biggest lesson for me was if I'm saying okay, it's good enough to see an olive tree versus what I wrote down was to hear it. Then I'm telling the universe it's okay to not give me what I want, but something close to it. So that was a huge lesson for me. So I have yet to hear anyone talk about an olive. And it's funny because I worked this voiceover job that takes place in Italy where there's olive trees everywhere, but not once did someone say olive tree. A friend of mine just went to Italy for 2 weeks. She told me all about her trip, but not once did she talk about an olive tree. I play Wordle, and a couple of days ago, the word was olive. And then I'm walking down the street, and this beautiful sunny day, and there's Olive and More, like a restaurant. So I'm seeing olives everywhere. I haven't heard an olive tree, but I'm having so much fun noticing olives, and they're everywhere. And I know that when I finally hear olive tree, it's going to be I'll it'll be so funny that it happened, and I don't know how or when. It probably will have nothing to do with Italy, but
Mm-hmm.
it's fun. I'm really loving the all the olives that are popping up in my life, and I'm
Yes.
excited to see how I will hear olive tree.
Yes. And for listeners, this is such an important piece of leveraging the law of attraction to get what you want, and evidence in the role it plays. This scavenger hunt came from your future self. So it's all
Hmm.
these things that are specific, and you chose, right? Because you could have put see an olive tree and you had chosen here. And then you're like, oh, but can this count? Like,
Hmm.
no, because we're
Hmm.
not saying like, oh, I want this amazing, I don't know, I want to be a Broadway actor, but
Hmm.
can this role on the corner of the street count? Like, no,
No.
like I'm not gonna, I want what I want, and
Hmm.
trusting the universe to show that to us and to guide that is really important, and staying with the process. So
Hmm.
often, and this ties into what we've been talking about with outcomes and the how,
Hmm.
people get caught up, and this was you in the beginning too, like, let me check off the box.
Hmm.
Because if I check off the box that I, saw an olive tree and I just count it, that's good
Hmm.
enough other than hear
Hmm.
it. I can check that box. And there's this belief that, oh, that means what I'm wanting is happening faster.
Hmm.
But it's not. It's this joy that you're creating in this search. Okay, I'm seeing an olive here. All of that stuff is building, and it's really teaching you a bigger lesson about
Hmm.
how to be on
Yeah.
your journey of an actor, right? It's not just about the olive tree, it's about everything that you're creating.
Yeah. And also, the more time or whatever that I'm not hearing an olive tree, I'm seeing more of what's on the list that I already saw on
Mhm.
the scavenger hunt. So
Yeah.
I wanted to see lights on and a marquee. And of course, this weekend I saw so many, I crossed it off because I saw it once, but now I see it everywhere. Families laughing together. I see that all the time. Hearing about people making more money than ever or getting their dream, so it's like I'm getting to double and triple check off the list what's on my scavenger hunt. And the fact that I'm looking for this, like, and I'm seeing olives everywhere is part of what is keeping me present as well.
Mhm.
So it's all working together. Not,
Yes.
and it's almost even better that I haven't heard an olive tree right away.
Mhm.
Because maybe I would have just done the assignments like wait really quickly, not
Mhm.
gotten these lessons and just moved on when there's so much gold here.
Yes. Oh, there is so much gold. And that's
Hmm.
how you never know which assignment for which person is going to hold the gold. But
Hmm.
the assignments all have this gold potential
Hmm.
when we're willing to slow down and be with the assignment. It's
Hmm.
interesting you brought up the marquee and now you've seen it, because
Hmm.
you had asked, like, oh, does it count? I saw it on Instagram, and I'm like,
Yeah.
sure. Like, I
Right.
wanted to say no, but we were already discussing the olive tree. But because it was almost like it was, again, it was that, let me check it off. And
Hmm.
now, because this olive tree has held this space for you, you've gotten this experience of
Hmm.
seeing and feeling all these things and really being in this evidence
Hmm.
place,
Yeah.
which is supporting you being more in the present and less in the outcome, like you said.
Yeah. I just had a thought while you were saying that, but the marquee and something about mhm. Oh, it left. It'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh, this is it. So you said I want what I want, right?
Hmm.
And not like the thing next to it, but I want this. And this is really big for me because I can get lured and enticed by the thing that's so close to it. Like,
Hmm.
oh, it's almost that. It can't be bad, right? But it's for me, I want to say no to even the thing that's like a hair away from what I want,
Hmm.
because then I will get exactly what I want and not like the thing that's so close to it that could maybe turn into something like exactly what I want later. But to just be steadfast in wanting what I want and not giving it any, like, being firm with that, right? That this
Hmm.
is what I want and not the thing that's like so close to it. It could almost be it. I think that's the tipping point for me because it's so enticing to to think, yeah, I could, it's so close, but to say no, just to still say no until it is exactly what I want.
Yes, absolutely.
That's huge for me.
I love that. Anything else in your heart or your mind that you want to share today as we wrap up this interview?
I am excited for the next one and to see like what we're going to talk about next.
Yes, me too. And I hope you all are. For Paulie and I, that's about 90 days away, but you get to hear it next week. So make sure to come back next week and check out what else is awesome in Paulie's life. The telling of stories is so powerful, both to the person telling it and the person receiving it. Since 30,000 BC, we as humans have told stories to teach and guide. And now we, with Manifesting Success Stories, hope to inspire you to what is possible in your own life. If you want more manifesting success, go to moremanifestingsuccess.com, where you'll find links to anything we've talked about on the show. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, you have the power to write your own happy ever after.